8 signs you have an extremely rare personality. Carl Jung psychology. Carl Jung, a well-known psychologist, spent decades studying people and their minds. Through his work, he discovered something remarkable. There is a very small group of people, less than 5% of the population, who experience life in a way most others never do. He called this special way of seeing the world differentiated consciousness. These people have a depth of understanding, feeling, and awareness that is rare and advanced. What's truly fascinating is that many of these rare individuals spend their whole lives feeling like something is wrong with them. Society often tells them that their sensitivity, intensity, or refusal to accept simple answers are flaws or problems. But Jung saw these traits in a completely different light. He realized that these people are not broken, they are actually ahead of their time. They represent the next stage in human evolution, the future of how people will understand themselves and the world. Imagine living your whole life sensing things others miss. You feel emotions deeply, almost like they are moving through you like music, full of meaning and layers that others can't hear. This isn't being overly sensitive or unstable, it's a kind of emotional sophistication. You pick up on moods and tensions in a room even before a word is spoken. While others might brush off these feelings, you live in their reality every day. You also have a mind that doesn't accept simple explanations. When others settle for surface-level answers, you're asking the big questions. Why do people stay in relationships that hurt them? Why do we accept unfair systems? Why do shallow conversations feel so empty? Your curiosity isn't just casual, it's sacred. You want to understand the deeper truth beneath everything, and sometimes this makes others uncomfortable because it challenges their safe, familiar world. Because of this way of thinking and feeling, you've learned to stand on your own. You may have faced hardship or felt isolated, but you've built a strong sense of self from the ground up. This independence isn't about pushing people away. It's about knowing who you truly are, beyond what anyone else expects or demands. It's a hard path, but one that leads to real freedom. You also notice things others don't. You see small changes in people's faces, sense hidden emotions, and feel shifts in energy in a room. This kind of awareness can be exhausting because you carry more emotional information than most people realize. Sometimes, you take on the feelings of others without meaning to, becoming a quiet support system for everyone around you. What drives you most is meaning. Popularity, money, or easy answers don't satisfy you. You need life to feel authentic and real. When you try to live for others' approval or follow paths that don't fit you, you feel empty and restless inside. Your spirit rebels against fake or shallow living. This need for meaning isn't a choice. It's who you are at your core. As you grow, you often find that old friends, family, or places don't match the person you're becoming. People who knew you before might not understand the new you because you've shed old layers that once held you back. This can be lonely, but it's also a sign that you're evolving, moving toward a truer version of yourself. Jung's work shows that these rare personalities are often misunderstood, even by those closest to them. They carry a special kind of gift, an advanced way of seeing and feeling that most people don't have. And though society often tells them to hide their gifts or dim their light, Jung believed the opposite. These people are the future. Their sensitivity, intensity, and deep thinking are not defects, they are upgrades. They are breaking through to a new level of human consciousness. So if you recognize these feelings and ways of being in yourself, know this: you are not too much for the world. The world is just not big enough yet to hold all of you. You are an evolution in progress, and the traits that sometimes make you feel like an outsider are actually the signs of a powerful breakthrough. You're not broken. You're becoming more of who you truly are. And that is one of life's greatest privileges. Irreversible. Once you've seen behind the curtain of social conditioning, you can't return to unconscious conformity. If people seem uncomfortable with your growth and keep asking you to be who you used to be, comment, "My evolution is not negotiable." Sign 7. You create what I call transformational presence. Jung said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." But what if you're the type of person who creates transformation simply by showing up authentically? Jung identified a rare quality that some people possess, the ability to create what he called psychological holding space. When someone speaks to you, they feel seen in a way that's uncommon. You don't just listen to words. You perceive underlying emotional states. You don't offer quick fixes. You offer deep witnessing. You don't rush to judgment. You create space for truth to emerge. Jung understood that this level of presence is actually a form of psychological healing. You don't rush to judgment. You create space for truth to emerge. Jung understood that this level of presence is actually a form of psychological healing. But here's what I've observed about people with this gift. They often exhaust themselves by giving it too freely. You become so skilled at holding space for others that you forget to ask for space to be held yourself. Jung discovered something important about highly empathetic personalities. They often develop what I call helper syndrome, a pattern of unconscious self-sacrifice that ultimately serves no one. The work isn't to stop caring. The work is to learn discernment. Sign 8. You sense a purpose that can't be defined yet. Jung said, your vision becomes clear when you look into your heart. Who looks outside dreams? Who looks inside awakens? If you feel a persistent sense that you're meant for something more than the ordinary, Jung would have recognized this as what he called the transcendent function. Your psyche's drive toward individuation and purpose. You feel it. That restless knowing that you have something to contribute, something to build, something to express. It might not be clear yet, but it's undeniable. Jung understood this as evidence of what he called creative potential-seeking expression. This isn't about fame or recognition. It's about alignment, the psychological necessity of living in harmony with your deepest nature. Jung found that people who ignore this calling often develop neurotic symptoms. Many people who feel deeply often struggle with anxiety, sadness, or feeling like life doesn't have real meaning. But Carl Jung, a famous psychologist, had a powerful insight about people like this. He believed that when you have a strong sense of purpose or calling, it's not just about you. It's about something much bigger. You're here not just to live your own life, but to help the whole world grow in awareness and understanding. Jung spent his life studying people who think and feel deeply. He called these people differentiated individuals. They have a special way of seeing and understanding the world, far beyond what most people experience. But Jung noticed that these rare people go through stages as they grow. Knowing what stage you're in can help you continue to grow. At first, many of these people feel like outsiders. They know they're different but don't understand why. They notice their strong feelings and intense thoughts but see them as problems to fix. So they try very hard to fit in, to be normal, to hide who they really are. But living like this is exhausting and painful. Often, they lose touch with their true selves. Then comes a turning point. They start to realize that their unique feelings and thoughts are not weaknesses but gifts. They begin to accept all parts of themselves, even the parts they used to hide or dislike. They stop apologizing for being different. They learn to set boundaries with people who want them to dim their light. They seek out others who are honest and real, people who can understand and accept their true nature. Eventually, they reach a stage Jung called individuated consciousness. This means they fully accept their true selves and live openly and honestly. They understand their purpose and live it every day. At this stage, they don't just live authentically, they inspire others to do the same. They become lights for other rare souls on similar journeys. But Jung also warned that this path isn't without challenges. Even people with advanced minds and hearts have shadows, parts of themselves they don't fully understand or accept. These shadows can cause problems if ignored. For example, some might start thinking they're better than others just because they are different, which leads to loneliness or arrogance. Others might feel it's their job to fix or save everyone, which can cause burnout and frustration. Some believe being special means they which leads to loneliness or arrogance. Others might feel it's their job to fix or save everyone, which can cause burnout and frustration, suffer or be alone. Jung said the key is to recognize these shadows and keep them from controlling your life. Relationships can be tricky too. People with rare qualities often attract certain kinds of people. Some want to take from your light without giving back. They want you to be their teacher or guide, but don't see the whole you. Others feel scared or threatened by your intensity and try to make you normal or quiet. But there are also rare people who have done their own inner work and can meet you at your level. These people celebrate your light while keeping their own. Learning how to tell who is who helps protect you and helps you grow. With all of this comes a big responsibility. Being rare means you have an important role in helping humanity grow and change. Your deep feelings, your questions, and your refusal to accept shallow answers all push the world forward. This is why surface conversations or pretending to be someone else feel wrong to you. You need real meaning. Jung also warned about psychological inflation, when rare people start believing they are better than others. True growth means balancing your strength with humility. You are special, yes, but not more valuable than anyone else. As humans evolve, Jung believed more will develop these rare traits. What's rare now will become more common in the future. This means you're not just personally rare, you're important for the future of human awareness. Every time you felt like an outsider, you were exploring new possibilities for what humans can be. Every time you chose to be authentic instead of fitting in, you helped raise the standard for everyone else. This path can feel lonely because few understand it. Some will try to dim your light or avoid your depth. But Jung said the goal isn't to make everyone understand you. It's to live your truth so fully that you become an example of what's possible. When you do this, you attract the few who can truly relate to you. The world needs your sensitivity, your intensity, and your refusal to settle. But you also need to be careful, knowing when to share your gifts and when to protect yourself. Jung said the hardest thing is to accept yourself fully. When you do, you give others permission to do the same. If even some of this feels true, then you're not just different, you're part of the next step in human evolution. It's a brave path and sometimes lonely, but the world really needs you. Your depth isn't a problem. It's the strength humanity needs to grow. So don't be afraid to be yourself. Be proud of your rare mind and heart. If you're ready to accept this, say to yourself, I am evolutionary consciousness in human form. Sometimes, when life feels overwhelming or when people don't seem to understand you, it's easy to forget just how rare and special your way of seeing the world really is. You might feel like you don't fit in, like your sensitivity or depth is a problem, but that couldn't be further from the truth. There's something important you need to remember. Your mind and heart work in ways that most people never experience. Carl Jung, the famous psychologist, called this kind of rare awareness psychological rarity. It means you're not just different, you're part of a small group of people who see and feel much more deeply than most. But here's a warning Jung shared that few talk about. Sometimes people around you, without even realizing it, can take your energy. They might lean on you emotionally or mentally in ways that leave you feeling drained. This is especially true for those who are highly sensitive or empathic. In my video, Final Warning to Empaths, They're Taking Your Energy, I dive into Jung's discovery about how unconscious people feed on the light of those who are more psychologically advanced. It's a tough truth, but knowing this can help you protect yourself and keep your energy strong. This journey of understanding your rare gifts is just beginning, and I invite you to join me by subscribing. Together, we'll explore what makes you extraordinary, how your depth, your questions, and your refusal to settle for less can actually help change the world. Remember, you are not too much. The world is simply not ready for the size of your spirit and the power of your mind. Jung believed that people like you, those with rare minds and hearts, are the ones who push humanity forward. You are the ones who wake others up, who show what's possible when we live fully and authentically. Thank you for being here and for being exactly who you are. I look forward to seeing you in the next conversation, the next step, the next dimension of growth. Your journey is just beginning.